Have you ever accidentally started following somebody at a store that has a cart full of Marvel Legends? It's not even like a full wave. It's like the same character repeated over and over. You follow them and then you realize like 20 minutes later, you've essentially followed them throughout like the entire store. And now you feel like a creepy weirdo, but it's okay. You're a collector. It happens, and scalpers be scalping nowadays. These dudes would probably try to flip their own grandmother if there was any profit to be made. But anyways, all jokes aside, today's video is kind of about that. And I should clarify, I've already kind of talked about this on a number of different occasions, but both of these were kind of like in general, and they weren't too specific to my area. Well, in a sense, anyways. I did talk about the whole eBay market and how there were a bunch of, you know, action figure flippers on there. And I talked about how I didn't feel like there were just one-offs that would go around buying stuff at their local stores. These were people that had legitimate businesses, like they have their licenses, they pay taxes as businesses. They're just able to buy in bulk because they have the backing, and they're able to resell these figures for astronomically high prices. Especially if there's a high demand, they usually hold on to these figures. They see where the market is and they can mark up the prices to whatever extent they want, because they're not a legitimate retailer. They're just third-party sellers online. I also talked about the predatory practices of a lot of these action figure stores or these collectible stores, and I talked about a personal experience of trying to sell a collection to one of these stores, and I felt like it was more of a cautionary tale, because I did kind of get close to what I wanted, but I felt like there are a lot of people getting taken advantage when it comes down to the collectible community from some of these bigger stores. But today's video, like I said, is something a little bit more local. It's something that I've been kind of noticing on and off. I'll talk a little bit about the scalpers towards the end of the video, but it's something really interesting, kind of like a little side story. I joined this community or this group on Facebook that it was supposed to be for local collectors. In case you guys are wondering, I'm here in Arizona. I'm technically in Phoenix, but you know, as of the moment, I've moved much closer to Scottsdale, so I'm like right on the edge. I'm like maybe a minute or two from Scottsdale, so it's technically like East Phoenix, but most of the time that I've spent hunting, it's been on the west side, you know, closer to Glendale, Avondale, Tolleson. But as of recently, I've definitely gone more east, so I've spent a lot of time in like Tempe, Mesa, Scottsdale, East Phoenix. That's usually where my hunting grounds are as of the moment. And so I joined this community, and you know, from the description, I initially made my assumption, which obviously was wrong, that this was a community of collectors that were all going to come together and kind of help each other out and just kind of bond over the fact that we collect something similar. And I was sorely mistaken. Now, I personally feel like I've at least tried to do my part by, you know, posting any cool finds and letting people know if there are multiples. I'll give you guys some examples. I did find that X-Men Marvel Legends 5-pack at Ross recently, which was going for about $25. Huge discount. There were a lot of people looking for it. I did find an extra one. I posted the location of it. Same thing with the Red Hulk. I saw that they were restocking it. I found a couple. I wasn't really interested, but I posted it on the group. Same thing with, I believe, the Marvel Legends Target exclusive Carnage. I also posted a picture and the location, trying to help other collectors out. I picked up my Marvel Legends Carnage. There were still, I believe, 2 on the rack, and I posted a picture, so on and so forth. Anytime I see like a crazy clearance deal, even if it's not like my personal taste or a line that I collect, whether it's Transformers or G.I. Joe, stuff that I'm not really too deep into, I'll usually post a picture in the group, you know, letting people know, hey, if you guys are interested in this stuff, you guys can now pick it up. But that's it. I mean, the other side of the group is essentially just a bunch of people trying to sell their action figures or their hunt finds. I'll give you guys an example. I'll see some stuff at Ross, and then maybe like a week or two later, I'll see people trying to sell those exact same figures for twice on this group. And look, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to scalp people, do it. But I felt like this group was supposed to be like a safe environment where collectors were going to help each other out. That's not what it was at all. And then there would be some people, there were like a couple of different people that would take pictures of their like entire hauls or pictures inside the store of certain items, but would not share the location. Even when other users would come to them and be like, hey, where are you located at, or where did you find those figures at, they would usually just give them like a very vague answer, like, hey, you should go out to the east side, hey, you should go out hunting, they have these available. Even after people would specifically ask them for the location of those extra collectibles that they had left there, they were just not a lot of help. And this was a really interesting back and forth. It kind of culminated, I'm not going to post any names, I'm not going to share any profile pics or anything like that, but it all came to a head recently, about a year ago, where one of these collectors from the group actually called out a majority of the community, at least in that group, because he felt like people were just not helping each other out. And he called out these people specifically, these people that would not respond with the locations of some of their finds. And by the way, you're not obligated to share your location or your finds at all. I mean, if you want to keep those private, go ahead. But why even post on the group that was essentially created to help each other out? Why would you even be posting on that group if you're not going to help out your fellow collectors? That makes absolutely no sense. And this was ongoing for quite some time. And now, you know, I would go on OfferUp or Facebook and I would see a lot of people trying to flip the figures. Now, usually, like I say, when it comes down to like eBay and Amazon, I always think of like a small little entity, a small little business trying to take advantage of the collector community. But when I see stuff on Facebook and OfferUp going for twice as much or a little bit over the retail price, let's say, I'll give you guys a perfect example. The Marvel Legends Superior Spider-Man that was released not too long ago, that I think retail was going for, you know, with taxes, a little bit over $30-something, like let's say $32-33. People were trying to resell them for $45. It wasn't like a huge profit margin, so that makes me believe that it was like one individual that maybe went to multiple targets, picked up a handful of these and tried reselling them on OfferUp, which is kind of like my go-to now for buying collectibles from like individuals. But it was just really interesting that we were consistently seeing this more and more, and the group is essentially on life support. It's dead. They're only there to try to flip their finds, to try to maximize their profit. My go-to website or my go-to app nowadays is either Facebook or OfferUp if I'm interested in picking up a figure that maybe isn't available at retail anymore. And I have to say, it's really sad to see people trying to take advantage of the collector community. You pretty consistently see people that aren't even making that much money off of each figure. Sometimes you may see a figure that, as I said, retails for about like maybe $32, and they're just trying to get rid of it for $40, potentially because there isn't that demand, or people have just gotten wiser and just are not interested in paying these action figure flippers. I think the Superior Spider-Man is a perfect example. That figure retails for roughly around like low 30s with taxes and everything, and it's being sold online for like $40 to $45. I mean, their profit margin, if you include gas, is like, I don't know, $6 to $10 maybe, in some cases a little bit more. But it's just a little bit shady that people would go through all of that trouble just to make that small little amount of difference in their pocket. And by the way, this is just me assuming that this is a normie, like just a normal person going in there to buy them. We don't know if these are like Target employees or Walmart employees that are able to purchase these maybe at a discount and able to resell them. I just think it's really shady for them to be doing this. Like, I get it, if you have a large collection of figures and a lot of these are like completely outdated, they've been out of circulation for like 3, 4, 5 years, then yeah, I guess you can kind of go and find the market and, you know, price your figures accordingly, because maybe there were figures that you wanted that were still mint on card or unopened, and you had plans maybe for the future, things change and you just want to sell the figures. I completely get it. You go to the market, you figure out how much these figures are worth, and then you price them you know, somewhat similar to what they're selling for online. But it's really dirty when people purchase these figures and then literally within a day or two are trying to flip them. And we saw this a lot, and I've seen this a lot with like the Red Hulk, which had a restock recently, Superior Spider-Man. You have the Marvel Legends retro carded exclusive Target action figure, and then you have the newest Walmart retro carded Venom, which was up for like the longest time, so I'm not 100% sure why people didn't pick it up, and now it's going for like $40 to $50 online. You have the new 80 years anniversary Wolverine as well, going for astronomically high prices. So look, I could sit here and I could talk about this all day. I just feel that it's really shady, especially here locally. I mean, I don't know how everybody else's situation is, but just here locally, it feels like people are just taking advantage of the collector community left and right, whether it's eBay prices, all of these businesses buying in bulk, spending, you know, $10,000-$20,000 on pallets worth of these figures and reselling them for ridiculously high prices. And a lot of these have connections directly to Hasbro or McFarlane or whatever the OM is. They don't care where the money is coming from, even if it's the smaller retailers they're willing to sell to them, or whether it's these predatory small quote-unquote collectible shops that are supposed to be for the collectors. They end up just being like a mediator scalper in some cases. And now we're having to deal with like individual rogue scalpers, these people that go into these stores, they pick up whatever's there and they try reselling it online. What's interesting is they're not just random people. These people have a good insight, or they have a pretty good understanding. They have a knowledge of what sells in the community. So my best bet is these people are either collectors at the moment or former collectors, and they're using that information against the community as a whole. Look, if you're a collector in that particular area, I think the bare minimum you could do is just help out another collector. I'm not saying buy it for them, give it to them for free. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying throw them a bone. You know, me personally, if I see an action figure that I like and I pick it up and I see multiples of them, I'm not going to pick it up and try to resell them. I'll usually post a picture online, say, hey, is anybody interested in these figures? They're available here. And it's just something simple like that that can help the community, and it can help kind of like the bond grow stronger. And who knows, maybe later down the line somebody does this same exact thing for you. Maybe there's an action figure that you're desperately wanting your display and you're just not able to find it. Maybe somebody else may be willing to give you, you know, the location of some of these figures, especially nowadays where everything is selling out, whether it's a Hasbro Marvel Legends action figure like the Secret Wars wave, which essentially sold out within minutes, or some of the newer McFarlane action figures that are selling out as well within a few minutes of them going up for pre-order. So really your only option is to either get really lucky in person or bank on the generosity of fellow collectors. And I don't think it's too much to ask. Like I said, it's not an obligation, it's not mandatory, but it's just a cool little touch, especially if you're a part of like a group or a community of collectors. You would assume that that's the bare minimum that you can do. Otherwise, what's the point of being a part of a group like that if you're just going to keep all the collectibles to yourself? I don't know. Look, this is just my personal opinion, my personal take, and my personal experience recently when it comes down to collecting. I think it's very difficult, and honestly, it's a little bit... It's sad to see the state of the community actually here locally. I'm not sure how it is anywhere else in the country. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to stay tuned because we do upload pretty consistently. I think we're up to, I don't know, like maybe 3 to 4 times on a weekly basis, but I want to ramp it up every time that I come to the end of the video. I say the same exact thing, but hopefully I'm able to kind of ramp up the content. I'm trying my best, but you know, stuff always gets in the way. So if you guys enjoy the content, stay tuned. As always, make sure you enjoy the hobby. I know we tend to rant and complain all the damn time, but sometimes you just gotta enjoy them, open them, pose them, and just have fun with them. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.